Good morning, children. Welcome to online physical science classes. Welcome to 8th standard physical science class. Today we will continue the 5th unit in physics. Dispersion. The next topic is dispersion. We know that sunlight is which is normally appears white in color, but it is actually made up of 7 colors, isn't it? Under certain conditions, these 7 colors will separate, and we can see them. The separation of white light into its constituent colors is called dispersion. The band of colors that white light separate into is called the spectrum of white light. So the different colors, no, that is called spectrum of white light. You know what are the 7 colors? Yes, it is Weber colors. You know that, isn't it? That is which is present in the rainbow. Okay, then this dispersion occurs because the refractive index of a medium is slightly different for lights of different colors. Okay, for lights of different colors, the refractive index is slightly differs. For example, the refractive index of glass is greater than violet red than for red light. Okay, so when white light passes through a prism, the violet component bends more than the red component. Violet component bends more than the red component. This makes the two colors separate as the light comes out from the prism. So when you pass the white light through the prism separates the white light into 7 different colors. So rainbows are the examples of dispersion occurring in nature. They form when white light is refracted and reflected inside tiny drops of water in the atmosphere. One can sometimes see rainbow colors in soap bubbles, raindrops, or in the spray near a fountain or waterfall. The bending of light by the refractive surface of a prism can also make the white light split into its constituent colors. So this is about dispersion, children. Do you understood this? Hope you have understood so. Okay, now the next topic is spherical mirrors. So, what are spherical mirrors? Mirrors with the curved surfaces are called spherical mirrors. Mirrors with curved surfaces are called spherical mirrors. When the reflecting surface of a mirror bulged outside, then it is called convex mirror. Then it is called a convex mirror. So here in the case, see, the mirror is bulged outside. This is called a what? Convex mirror. Okay, when the reflecting surface curves inward, and this is called a concave mirror. Cave like cave, it is going, no, so that is concave mirror. Okay, children, so there are some important concept we are going to learn regarding these spherical mirrors. So shall we start? Yes. So this is what type of mirror? See, this is the reflecting surface. This is the reflecting surface. The reflecting surface bulges outside, so it is a convex mirror. Okay. Then, what are the concepts we are going to learn? The center of the imaginary sphere of which the mirror is a part is called center of curvature. See, suppose this is the actual mirror. If you are imagining this is a spherical in shape. Okay, this is spherical in shape. There will be a center for the sphere, no? That center is called center of curvature. Center of curvature, and it is denoted by C, by the letter C. And the radius of the imaginary sphere of which the mirror is a part is called radius of curvature R. You know the distance between the center of the mirror and the center of the circle and the circumference is called radius. So here also the radius is called radius of curvature, and it is denoted by R. Okay, and it is denoted by R. Is it clear? Yes. Then the center of the mirror is called pole. So this is mirror's central. No, where is the mirror? This is the mirror, and the center of the mirror, this part is called pole, and it is denoted by capital P. And the diameter of a sphere of which the mirror is a part passing through the pole is called principal axis of the mirror. So when an imaginary line passes through the pole of the mirror, so imaginary line that passes through the pole of the mirror, and also at the same time it acts as the sphere diameter of the sphere. Okay, this line, this imaginary line, when you draw a line which is passing through the pole, okay, is it clear for you? When you draw a line which is passing through the pole, as well as the line acts as a diameter for for this spherical shape, then we call this as principal axis. This line we call it as principal axis. This principal axis can extend in both the directions. Okay, the point on the principal axis, that is midway between the pole and the center of curvature of the mirror, is called focus. So which is focus? The point on the principal axis, that is midway between the pole and the center of curvature, and the center of curvature, that is between pole and the center of curvature, this part maybe. Okay, so somewhat here, so this part is called focus, and it is denoted by capital F. The distance between the pole and the focus, this distance, no, yes, this distance is called the focal length. This is called focal length of the mirror, focal length of the mirror, and this is denoted by small f, small letter F. So F is equal to what? Radius divided by 2, right? Radius divided by 2 is the value of F. Focal length equal to radius of curvature divided by 2, or half of the radius of curvature. Is it clear, children? The same thing is for the case of concave mirror also. Okay, for concave mirror also the same things can be, the same points can be remembered. Okay, now reflection by spherical mirror. So how the reflection takes place by in spherical mirror? See, look at the first case. In the first case, a ray of incident light at the pole is reflected as in plane mirror. In other words, the angle between the incident ray and the principal axis is equal to the angle between the reflected ray and the principal axis. Okay, so this is true for concave as well as convex mirror. So the plane mirror, the incident angle of incident is always equal to angle of reflection. Okay, so this principal axis acts as the normal here. Okay, so this is same for the case of incident ray as well as the concave mirror and as well as the convex mirror. Is it clear, children? Yes. The next one is a ray of light that passes through the center of curvature of a concave mirror. Then center of curvature of a concave mirror or moves towards the center of curvature of a convex mirror. So look at the diagram, which is the first one, which is the ray of light passes through the center of curvature of a concave mirror. The center of it is passing through, isn't it? So, or in the second case it is convex mirror. So here it moves towards the center of curvature of the convex mirror. Okay, it moves towards the center of curvature of the convex mirror. It retraces its path after reflection. In other words, the incident and reflected rays move along the same line in the opposite direction. Same line in opposite direction. So if the light rays comes in this direction, after reflection, after falling on the mirror, it send back in the same direction itself. Okay, it retraces the path, but the direction is different. Okay, children. Yes, the next concept is, after reflection, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus of a concave mirror and appears to diverge from the focus of a convex mirror. After reflection, a ray of parallel light. After reflection, what happens to this parallel line? The ray of light passes through the focus of the concave mirror. Okay, in the case of concave mirror, it passes through the focus after reflection, and In the case of convex mirror, it appears to diverge, that is move away from the focus of, it appears to be move away from the focus of the convex mirror. Actually it has to come here, but it moves away, isn't it? So this is the case of convex mirror. Okay, that is why focus is often defined as the point where ray of lights when rays parallel to the principal axis converge, that is meet after reflection from the concave mirror, or appear to diverge from reflection at a convex mirror. Now finally, a ray of light passing through the focus of a concave mirror, now the light rays passes through the focus of the concave mirror, are moving towards the focus of a convex mirror, moving towards the focus of the convex mirror, travels parallel to the principal of axis after reflection. So after reflection, how does it travels? Look at their path of traveling. They are traveling which is parallel. This is the principal axis, no? So it is parallel to the principal axis after reflection. You know, parallel lines runs, they never meet, they run together, they never meet to each other, isn't it? So here also the reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. Do you understand? This is about the reflection formed by the spherical mirrors. Now we are going to discuss how the images are formed by a concave mirror. If the object is beyond the center of curvature, and the image formed will be a real one, inverted and also smaller than the object. Okay, so it forms between focus and C, center of curvature. See, look at, this is the object and this is the image. Okay, so if it is beyond C, a real image will be formed, and also it is inverted. See, look at the arrowhead here, it points upward direction, here it points downward direction, so it is inverted. And also compare the size, they are smaller to the original one. Okay children, yes. The next one is, if the object is at infinity means some far away distance, like sun, very small real images formed at the focus. Okay, very small images are formed at the focus. This is why concave mirrors are used to concentrate the rays of the sun in solar heaters. So as shown in the figure, the concave mirrors are used in the solar heaters to focus the heat of the sun. Okay, a very small image will be formed, but what to say, they are very pointed size. Okay, so then in the case of the next cases, as the object moves closer towards C, the image become larger. When it is at C, the image which is also formed at C is real, inverted, and of the same size as the object. Okay, at the same size of the object. So here the object and the image is of same size and also formed at the same place, but but it is inverted. The image is inverted one. Okay children. Now the next one is, what about the next one? The next one is, when the object is at F. Okay, when the object is between C and F, when the object is between C and F, that is center of curvature and focus, the image is real, inverted. Okay, and also larger than the object, which is formed beyond C, So look at the images, inverted one, larger than the object. This is the object and larger than the original one, and also inverted, and it is formed beyond the center of curvature. Okay, then when the object is at F, that is at focus, the image is formed at infinity. The images are formed at infinity, or it is very far away from the mirror. So here the objects cannot be seen very clearly. Is it clear children? That is how the same concept is used in the what to say, the torch lights. Okay, it's used in the torch light. The same concept is used in the torch lights. Okay children, Yes, you can't see the images. When you switch on the light in torches, you can't see the images, right? The image of that light rays. Am I right, children? Yes. This is because of this concept. Hope you have understood the reflections formed by the concave mirrors. These concave mirrors are used in various. Okay, they are used in various purposes in our day-to-day life. That is. That is, they are used as shaving mirrors and compact mirrors. Mirrors, shaving mirrors and compact mirrors. Okay, children, do you understood this? Hope you have understood clearly about the reflections of images formed by the concave mirror. So far we have discussed the images formed by the concave mirror, right? Yes, now we are going to discuss about the images formed by convex mirror. The images formed by convex mirror is always virtual, erect and smaller than the object. Okay, they are virtual, erect. Erect means straight. Okay, they won't be appear upward down, and also they are smaller than the object. So these convex mirrors are used as rear view mirrors in vehicles. Rear view mirrors in vehicles, they are more helpful than plane mirrors in this case, because they form smaller images and hence give a wider view. Okay, children, hope you have understood this concept. So this is the ray diagram of a convex mirrors, images formed by the convex mirror. And that's the end of the lesson. Hope you have understood the lesson thoroughly, and you are writing your assignments also well, children. So complete the assignment and report in the group without fail, children. Also learn this lessons short answer and 1 marks. We thank you, children. Meet you in the next class.